Leaked reports from Silverstone confirm a nightmare scenario for the competition. Data from Aston Martin's simulator suggests their performance is breaking the 2026 regulations model. Formula One has anticipated this moment since the new regulations were announced. We are less than 3 weeks from the official AMR 26 launch on February 9th, and the paddock is in chaos. Lawrence Stroll spent the last 2 years assembling a super team with hundreds of millions invested in a new factory, a wind tunnel, and Adrian Newey's historic contract. We are finally seeing the result on January 19th, 2026. The 2026 rules intended to reset the grid by making cars slower, heavier, and harder to drive, with the equal split between electric and combustion power. However, numbers from the Aston Martin camp suggest they found a loophole, or design philosophy, that recovered the lost performance. Red Bull and Mercedes are publicly complaining about new engine challenges, but Aston Martin remains strangely quiet. In Formula One, silence often serves as a warning. Panic began late last night when data, allegedly from the Silverstone simulator, leaked. Rival engineers are reportedly stunned by the cornering speeds the AMR 26 achieves in simulation. Under the new 2026 Aero rules, downforce was expected to drop by roughly 40% to reduce dirty air. Yet insiders claim Adrian Newey's first Aston Martin chassis is hitting load numbers that rival the 2025 cars. This performance shouldn't be physically possible without specific engineering tricks. Newey started full-time in March 2025, giving him 10 months to work on these regulations. This car was designed entirely in Aston's new wind tunnel, which came online last year. They no longer rent time from Mercedes or load models into trucks. They run constant development cycles, and the correlation between their tunnel and the track is reportedly perfect. The situation becomes technical and concerning for the rest of the grid. Rumors suggest Newey delayed the final suspension sign-off until days ago because he found a way to mechanically seal the floor. The 2026 rules ban the Venturi tunnels seen in the ground effect era to stop porpoising. Sources suggest the AMR 26 features a reactive suspension geometry that mimics that seal under braking and high-speed cornering. If true, they have bypassed the intent of the regulation while following the text. Newey used similar tactics with the blown diffuser at Red Bull and active suspension at Williams. It appears he has done it again with Aston Martin. A functioning mechanical seal could give them a 1-second advantage per lap to start the season. If you are finding this analysis of the 2026 technical war interesting, please subscribe and enable notifications. We cover breaking F1 updates every week. Let us return to the engine controversy. The chassis looks formidable, but the engine situation is more complex. Honda is returning as a works partner, and President Koji Watanabe recently admitted they are struggling with new combustion targets. Many in the paddock believe this is a sandbagging tactic. Honda partnered with Aramco to develop a specific, sustainable fuel for this engine. The 2026 engines run on 100% sustainable fuel, making combustion efficiency the biggest differentiator. If Aramco and Honda gained a chemical advantage in the fuel mixture, those reported struggles could be a deception? Mercedes used this strategy in 2014 by playing down their engine for months before dominating in Melbourne. Andy Cowell built that Mercedes engine and now sits in Aston Martin's senior management, so they understand this strategy well. Fernando Alonso is 44 years old and has committed to this project through 2026 as his final career move. He signed the contract extension to win rather than drive in the midfield. Alonso stayed because he saw the blueprints. He has visited the factory almost every week this winter, which is uncharacteristic for a driver who usually prefers training in isolation. His body language during recent media appearances has been notably calm. He is neither angry nor demanding, but simply smiling. That specific demeanor usually implies he holds private information. He has waited nearly 20 years for a car capable of winning a third title. If the AMR 26 matches its simulator performance, we might see the oldest champion in modern history. The reaction from rival camps is revealing. Christian Horner has been vocal in the press this week about the unintended consequences of the active aero rules. He's calling for emergency clarifications before the first test in Barcelona. This behavior suggests a lack of confidence from a team principal who realizes he has been outmaneuvered. The mood at Mercedes is equally tense after losing engine guru Andy Cowell to Aston Martin. They also lost their wind tunnel tenant and now face the prospect of their customer team beating them with a Honda engine? Reports from Brackley suggest Mercedes is rushing to copy a suspension concept from an Aston Martin show car, but they remain months behind. The new X Mode and Z Mode active aerodynamic settings allow high downforce for corners and low drag for straights. Drivers activate this system like DRS, but it provides much more power. Rumors indicate Aston Martin has automated part of this process by linking it to brake pressure. By mapping the aero transition to the exact moment the driver hits the brake pedal, they can stabilize the car entering corners faster than human reaction allows. The FIA issued a technical directive warning against passive-active systems, but Newey may have routed this through suspension kinematics rather than software to keep it legal. This creates a massive regulatory gray area that Aston Martin is exploiting. The truth will emerge in 7 days when testing begins in Spain. Teams are limited to just 3 days of running per car, which provides very little time for a brand new regulation set. This limitation benefits Aston Martin. Their new simulation tools allow them to arrive with a nearly complete setup. Other teams will spend the first day checking if engines overheat and if active aero flaps function. Aston Martin plans to conduct a race simulation on day 1. Such confidence is rare for a team that finished in the midfield last year. If they top the timing sheets in Barcelona, the championship could be decided before the first race. We are potentially witnessing the start of a new dynasty. Formula One history is defined by regulation changes like Mercedes in 2014 and Red Bull in 2022. All signs now point to Aston Martin succeeding in 2026. This validates Lawrence Stroll's aggressive strategy of buying the best staff and building top facilities. A dominant car would prove that purchasing the right pieces leads to success, changing the sport's business model. Fans might see a shakeup that ends the Red Bull-Mercedes control. However, if one team found a major loophole, we could face a season of one-car dominance. The only hope for competition is that Honda's reliability issues are real, or the FIA bans Newey's suspension design before Melbourne. Until then, the entire grid remains on high alert. The AMR 26 launch on February 9th has become the most anticipated event in motorsport. Whether this ends in a title for Alonso or a technical scandal, the outcome will be historic. Thanks for watching, and please subscribe for more detailed analysis.